Hi guys, Azurace here and welcome to the Danganronpa 3 Future Arc Finale discussion. It's been an absolutely wild ride in this Future Arc, and even in the Despair Arc, despite not having done a series of discussions on it, unlike my Future Arc discussions. But we come to the Future Arc Finale, episode 12, entitled, It Is Always Darkest. This was satisfying to me as a conclusion to the Future Arc, honestly. However, many people are wrongfully criticising this episode for that. It isn't truly the finale of Danganronpa 3. People have to get that in their heads. It's not truly the finale yet. The real true finale is going to be the special Mirai-hen or Hope Arc episode that will release on Thursday. But now let's get into the finale of the Future Arc of Danganronpa 3. The episode begins many years ago on a Future Foundation camp as we see Tengan sitting at a table. Chisa comes up behind him and gives him a small USB drive that happens to be the Despair video that Chisa watched in Despair Arc and the one that caused the tragedy. Tengan asks if Chisa has seen the video, and obviously she's going to lie here and say that she hasn't. She also hands Tengan another USB drive, which is actually the Monokuma's Gloomy Sunday video, otherwise known as the Future Arc Suicide video, the one that facilitated this killing game, and also the one that caused the Reserve Course mass suicide during Despair Arc episode 11. And as always, as Tengan is looking at these USB drives, we see Chisa's eyes turn into those evil despair swirls. We switch back to the future at the point where Ryota received the message from Tengan, and it's actually a pre-recorded message from Tengan, a video message recorded before the events of Future Arc. He says that he chose Ryota as he entrusted the whole of the world to him, so the message that we thought was for Naegi was indeed for Ryota. He says that he couldn't imagine anything more despair-inducing than watching the Future Foundation murder each other, and then he says the thought of seeing you all crying, shedding blood, twisted by despair, it really makes me deeply and incredibly sad, which is why I ended up doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, our Mastermind is confirmed to be none other than the leader of the Future Foundation himself, Kazuo Tengan. So to those who predicted he would be the Mastermind from the start, major kudos to you. After watching the video, we see Ryota begin to break down and go a little tiny bit insane. He starts going on about how he ran away when he was up against Junko and that he gave in to despair then and didn't fight, but now he's not going to run away anymore. He then decides to tell Asahina and Naegi about what happened to him. He tells them about the Despair video that Junko created that turned Chisa and the Reserve Course students into despairs. He also thinks that the 77th class saw it too, but obviously we know they didn't see that video but watched Chiaki be tortured until a regrettable death. He blames himself for everything that has happened since Despair Arc. He also tells them of the Monokuma's Gloomy Sunday suicide video that was used in the killing game as well as to kill off the Reserve Course students. Ryota also thinks that Tengan must have seen the Despair video and put the suicide one into the monitors of the building to start off this killing game. He decides it's time to end this and shows them that he has a Hope video that he's going to broadcast worldwide. This Hope video is also a brainwashing video, much like the Despair video, and thinks that people are weak beings that cannot fight the Despair. He starts walking away but Asahina stops him, and then he shows her this almost psychedelic video. This is the Hope video, as it brainwashes Asahina as he tells her to stop Naegi. She walks over and gets Naegi in like a chokehold kind of thing, as Ryota says that this is his talent, as we finally learn what Ryota's NG code was, and it was simply to use his talent, to use his Hope video to stop the Future Foundation killing game, as he finally walks away. We then switch to see that the Future Foundation soldiers have finally entered the building, as we see them going around clearing rooms and hallways until they find Ryota roaming the halls, and he begins the brainwashing process as he shows the video to like one of the main soldiers, I would guess like the captain or something, who then proceeds to broadcast the video to all of the other soldiers, effectively creating an immediate army for Ryota. He starts the monologue again, saying that despair exists in the heart and that you cannot erase that, so he will reprogram the heart itself to get rid of negative emotions such as anger, fear, sadness, hatred, and that as long as despair exists, bad things will continue to happen. We switch back to Naegi and Asahina, as Asahina still has him in a hold as two soldiers come running up to them and aim at them, but out of nowhere Munakata saves the day by knocking the soldiers out. Naegi explains Ryota's plan to Munakata. Munakata says that it's ironic that Tengan being a remnant led to the world being brainwashed with hope. However, Naegi doesn't think he's a remnant. Naegi thinks that Tengan wanted Ryota to use that hope video and that he forced the Future Foundation into this killing game to force Ryota's hand and use the video. However, he didn't expect Ryota to join the killing game, which means that this whole game was set up for the sake of hope, but really just turned into ultimate despair. And we even see Munakata not liking this, as he thinks that eliminating despair from the human heart is no different from making a human not a human anymore. Munakata says that there's a large-scale broadcasting facility in the building above them, the real building, which Ryota is likely to go and try use. They begin to run as the soldiers appear, as they come to a corner whereupon Munakata decides to act as a decoy for Naegi and Asahina, running at the soldiers and smacking them with the katana. It's so badass, I absolutely love Munakata now. Allowing Naegi and Asahina to pass. We see the entrance where the soldiers came in as Ryota begins to climb up the rope to the surface. Munakata is still running as he manages to get into the meeting room. As he walks over to Chisa and smiles, the soldiers get ready to breach the door as we get one of the most badass moments in this entire series. I'm not just talking Danganronpa 3, I'm talking Danganronpa 1, Danganronpa 2, Ultra Despair Girls, Danganronpa 0, Danganronpa 3. It's so amazing. We see two slices hit the door as Munakata comes bursting out with dual wielding katanas. It's just so amazing. And he also has his bandages gone, so we see both of his eyes. However, one is now closed since it's probably not even an eye anymore. Naegi and Asahina are running as they run past soldiers who fire as they manage to hit Asahina in the leg. We cut to see Ryota still climbing and back to Naegi and Asahina, who manage to get into a room and avoid the soldiers. He wraps a bandage around her leg, with Asahina telling him to go and stop Ryota. We switch to see Ryota in a huge room with this broadcasting thing, I don't know, as he sets down the phone and enters a passcode of sorts into the computer as a prompt comes up on the monitor asking him if he wants to start the world broadcasting, where he does press yes, and we see a counter come up with 30 minutes, and hell, even Ryota looks like he's fallen into hope so much that it's a form of despair, a lot like how Nagito is actually. We then see monitors and stuff around the world begin to broadcast the video as people fall into hope. We even see Toko and Komaru watch the video, and we even see Monica watch the video up in space fall into hope. Like, I don't even understand how that would work. She's not even on Earth. I don't know. While this is all going on, he says a very, very Junko line. He says, when this countdown is over, the entire world will be dyed with hope. Sounds very similar to Junko talking about how the world will be dyed with despair. We see that Naegi has been captured and cornered by the soldiers, as well as Asahina, and we see Munakata running at the soldiers, dual-wield katanas in hand, as Ryota says, a world full of hope is coming, as it fades to white instead of black to represent hope. We come back from the commercial break to the place where all of this began, the theatre, as Chisa is watching the events unfold, and oh my god, Junko is there as well watching the events unfold. This is absolutely just amazing. I mean, I hate Junko for, you know, the villain that she is, but you just have to love Junko. Junko starts analysing the entire situation as she first of all confirms that Tengan is in fact the mastermind. She then says that really, Chisa is the reason why all of this happened, as she filled Munakata's head with thoughts of eliminating the despair, and also confirms that Chisa has been a despair all of this time, meaning she was a despair right up until her death. She then briefly goes over what happened to the 77th class before they got put into the Neo World program. She says that Chisa dyed her class with despair, drove Munakata and Tengan into conflict and destroyed the Future Foundation herself. Chisa continues Junko's speech saying that the wish for hope gave birth to despair, prayers went unanswered, love was betrayed, and everything fell into darkness. Which means that the future arc ends here. Junko asks if it's done already, but Chisa stands up and smiles and says, because now hope begins. And the best part about this is the fact that Junko acknowledges that they're dead. She's like, who cares, you know, we're already dead, man, as the episode ends there. But you guys know the drill by now. We get an after credits scene. We see Naegi cornered by the soldiers, and out of nowhere we hear someone speaking in the language that is known as idiot, as our main boy Hagakure rushes in past the soldiers to save Naegi, and then we see someone walking towards them and we hear him ask, what are you people doing? And it's none other than the man, the myth, the real legend himself. Byakuya Togame is in fact alive, ladies and gentlemen. You guys don't know how happy I am to see that Byakuya is still alive and kicking. He shouts at the soldiers asking who they think they are, pointing guns at him as his men rush out the shadows and grab all the soldiers in chokeholds, who I can only assume are Byakuya's right hand men. We then fade to black, but now we are still not done. We see bodies lying everywhere. I can't tell if they're dead or just knocked unconscious. It looks like there's blood all around them, so I can only assume they're dead. But we hear footsteps as the camera slowly pans up and we see a silhouette of who other than Hajime Hinata. That is right, everyone, Hajime has arrived at the Future Foundation building as the screen cuts to the same screen we saw in Despair Arc episode 11, continued to the Hope side as the finale to Danganronpa 3, the end of Kibo Gamane Gakuen Mirai-hen, ends here. But now it's time for my overall thoughts of this episode and finale of Danganronpa 3 Mirai-hen. It's a very satisfying conclusion in my opinion, which is a very unpopular opinion right now it seems, but people seriously need to remember, this isn't the real conclusion. This isn't the ultimate finale, if you will. This is only a prelude to what is going to be the finale to the Hope's Peak Academy arc through the Kibo-hen special on Thursday that will be airing and truly wrap up the story. So first off, Ryota is the new Mastermind. Don't want to toot my own horn here, but I think I called that pretty early on in the series. I've just lost respect for him now. I liked Ryota. He was one of the characters I seriously hoped wasn't the Mastermind, along with Tengan, and it just so happens that they're both the Mastermind, so you can't win in Danganronpa, can you? But it's also great to see that Byakuya is still alive. I'm glad he wasn't killed, however I do wonder how in the world he managed to get into the building below while the building was collapsing. And finally, Hajime has arrived. I cannot wait to see how Hajime is in Kibo-hen. And one thing I want to say is that there's promotional art going around for Kibo-hen, and his left eye has the regular greenish Hajime eye. However, in episode 6, we saw his right eye and it had the red Izuru eye. So does that mean he has heterochromia, which is a condition that gives you two different eye colours to sort of symbolise that Hajime and Izuru have become one being? I don't know. But one more thing I want to mention is, it only looked like Hajime was there. I really hope that at least Kazuichi, Fuyuhiko, Akane and Sonia are there with him. If they want to, you know, bring everyone back, I'm all for that. I want the entire 77th class to come back. But nevertheless, the killing game has finally come to its conclusion as Ryota Mitarai and Kazuo Tengan have been outed as the Masterminds. If you guys like this video, please leave a like and a comment in the comment section below. Share this amongst your friends. I've been Azure Ace, and thank you for coming to the video.
It is I, Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans, and you're watching Azure Ace. Subscribe for more content like this one.